could you give just a brief little bio, and then we can get into it?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, I actually got involved with health very, very young because I have a rare genetic blood disorder called thalassemia major, and you don't. It's rare to see a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl have that. It's usually a Middle Eastern disease, and so, but I have it, and I was sick all the time, and it has to do with my iron, my inability to process my iron and to utilize it. And so I would be wiped out all the time and just constantly sick. And then I started having serious neurological problems and aching all the time. I got bit by a tick twice. And then I just was literally, I don't ever remember not being sick from when I was a little girl. Like, I remember my first memories were probably 3 or 4 years old and everything, and always being health having health challenges until just probably like 5 years ago when I was able to, through all my knowledge, I became I became a nutritionist to the stars. I would work with all of the superstars, getting them ready for their movies, getting them ready for their concerts, or athletes. I mean, I work with one of the top soccer players in the world, Mo Salah from Liverpool, which they won the playoffs this last year, and he believes it's because of what I did for him, and we were able to literally heal his Achilles tendon that had been cut in just a couple of weeks when it took a year and a half and nothing was happening for him.
Oh
It was
my
so
gosh.
amazing. And then, I mean, the same thing, it was because he had read about me in my best-selling book, Magnetic Miracles. And I was working with the Minnesota Vikings, and one of the coaches had that problem. And so I was able to help them. And so he had heard about it. And so it was pretty amazing. I ended up, a lot of like amazing athletes like Laird Hamilton. He's the top big wave surfer in the world. He put me in his international best-selling book. It was called The Force of Nature, and he put me in there as must-take supplements, and he put down his favorite shake and everything. And I mean, you can't even imagine the people, the celebrities, and the directors, and I mean, so many people started taking it because of him. My first week, my sales went up $50,000, and I couldn't keep up with the sales. It was crazy, and it was pretty daunting. Like, it was amazing. And then Gabby Reese put me in Harper's Bazaar with Kate Hudson and all. It was pretty amazing. I've been in People, Us, Men's Health, Harper's Bazaar. I've been in over $300 million in books, from different celebrities putting me in different books and stuff. And so, my products really, I really believe that if you do the right thing will happen. And it just seemed so simple to me because, I was taking all these synthetic vitamins and I was having so many health challenges and it wasn't really helping. And I'm like, wow, what can I do? And then when I was trying to save my son's life, they said my son would die by the age of 2 just from the blood transfusions alone, because I had given my daughter and my son both the rare genetic blood disorder and Lyme disease. And so the rare genetic blood disorder should have skipped like a generation, because their father was a carrier, if you can believe it. It's like, how crazy is that, And he's blonde haired, blue eyed too. So it's, go figure, Anyway, so I was always looking for answers. Like, I couldn't do anything that everybody else could do. I couldn't stay up late at night. I couldn't eat like everybody else. I mean, forget like deciding to want to drink or smoke or anything. I mean, not that I wanted to, but, I just couldn't do any of that stuff. And it was such a challenge, and so somehow or other, that was my greatest benefit. I mean, I was just with Bobby Kennedy from the Kennedy Legacy on Friday. Tony and I were invited to his house for lunch and everything. And we were talking about like really the crimes against humanity and what's going on just with the EMFs, the 5G and all that, and the vaccines and things like that. So we're living in a really crazy world. And so all of this struggle that I had gone through my life, it really brought me up to here today, really, because I ended up becoming a nutritionist to the stars, and then I became a doctor because I needed more information to be able to save my son's life, and it ended up saving my life. I had written my will. I was on the front page of the LA Times, And literally, it was just such a daunting situation, because I just had told my husband, I said, listen, you've got to take care of the kids because I'm not going to make it. And my heart was enlarged. I would shake. My son, actually, his heart was enlarged. He had a brain tumor. He would shake uncontrollably like a kid on crack. And I had like the same stuff too going on. But he was so yellow. And it's just really incredible to see, like, this boy. I mean, like the shift that occurred throughout his life, because by the time he was 11 years old, he was picked as one of 9 boys to play for the United States in the World Cup for soccer.
Wow. Huh.
It was so amazing. And then he got to play at Manchester United for the youth team, and it was so amazing. And so, I mean, I really believe that everything was a blessing. Every single thing that I went through, because I developed this amazing skill. And Jess Stern, who he had 32 New York Times bestsellers. He was an amazing author. He came to me like when he was like 89 years old or 88 years old or whatever. And he came to me, and we got to know each other and stuff. And I started helping him because I had a center that I created to help people. And he said, you're going to be one of the biggest medical psychics ever. And I said, I don't have a psychic bone in my body. And he said, no, really, you have a gift. And he took a book off my shelf, and it was Edgar Casey, The Sleeping Prophet. And his name was on it, Jess Stern. And I said, that's you. And he said, yeah, he was my best friend. And if you don't know who Edgar Casey is, he was an illiterate, and he was amazing. I think he only went up to the 8th grade or whatever, but he had this gift where he would go into when he talks about the sleeping prophet, he went into this trance, and he could literally see what was going on and know what to do for people. Like doctors all over the world, people all over the world came to him and to find the answers and everything. And that I had developed that in my own way, where I could look at somebody and I could see what was going on with them. I just knew what was happening. And as a matter of fact, I have one of the most, probably the most prestigious health centers in the world in Malibu. And my ex-husband has it now, but JFK Jr. came in. And I was just telling Bobby this story about him when he came in with Herb Ritz. And I literally couldn't catch my breath. And he took my hand and he kissed it, and he goes, it's okay, it's okay. It was so amazing. But anyway, so we would have like some of the most unbelievable people all over the world coming in there and everything. And I would tell them, go tell Dr. Hanley about this and everything. And she came out one day and she goes, you got to stop telling people about, telling them for, things that, to test for and everything. And then one day she actually told me, she goes, you were right about every single one. And I thought you weren't right even about the one with the brain tumor, but you were right about it. And I literally couldn't help it, but I could see it in people. I just could see it because I think I got sick with everything you could ever imagine. And so I know I could just, that was the gift in everything, And so, not to continue on with this and everything, but it's really important for you to know that every single ingredient that I put into my products has the highest vibration in the world. Seriously. As a matter of fact, Bastyr College, they studied my greens and said it had the highest vibration of any greens on the market. They are doing the study on the brain chai latte and the brainberry boost because they gave it to a young autistic boy who couldn't focus, and he's looking like this, like that, and in one day he was focused. He could see, and it was just so amazing. And then UCLA did the same thing. They studied mine. Professor Valerie Hunt, who created the Kirlian camera that could see the vibration, the color around you, which is like your vibration and everything. She studied my products too, and it was really incredible. So my point is that every single ingredient I source, every single thing about it, because plant foods are They speak the exact same language as our bodies. They make up everything in our body. They can create what needs to happen because they have plant intelligence. They know where to go in our body. So if we get the right kind and the right vibration, just expect miracles, really. I mean, and I have to say, honestly, Jessica she always looked beautiful, but her vibration, because we are all vibration, her vibration is so amazing. But you can see it in her, really, right? Is it so beautiful? She just looks younger and younger and younger, and it's just
Thank you.
amazing, really. But I get it because
Reverse aging.
if I could show you, I would go grab a picture over here. I don't know if you'd be able to see it, but I'm going to go grab it because it's worth it, okay? Hang on for 1 second.
Sure.
She's amazing.
Right?
Wow.
You're
Yeah.
vibrating. You're vibrating.
I think she's
Okay,
glowing.
here we go. Now, I don't know if you can see the picture very well. Okay, that's my son who's with Tony right there.
Right.
And he had a lot of, you could see he had some health challenges and everything. But if you can see me, I was so sick, you know. Like,
That's
I
you?
don't,
In
what?
Right, that's you right next to Tony?
Yep, exactly. And it's easier to see, but you could see in my eyes, if you could see it there, how unhealthy I was, you know, like I was struggling for my life every single day, you know. And so that's why it was so important for me to find the answers. So when my son, as he's grown up, he started getting all these red dots, you know, angiomas, or not angiomas, but actually broken capillaries on his face. And the doctor said, oh my gosh, get him on vitamin C. And I said, I've given him all these different, the emergency, all the different types of vitamin C's on the market, every single one. And he just started getting kidney problems all the time from it, and nothing was working. And I told the doctor that, and he goes, I don't know what to do then. And so I started working with a couple of universities, Cornell. I worked with Dr. Colin Campbell at Cornell University, and some other, and I think it was Wisconsin or something. I can't remember now, actually. But anyways, and what we found, I started giving them plant foods that were high in vitamin C. And so we put together this formula. And by the fourth formula, literally, my son, you could see the difference in such a short time, and it started healing all that. Because when you start seeing the broken capillaries on the outside, he says, even the doctor said, he says he's 50 years ahead of his time. And that's like where the inside is even worse. It's starting, the veins and arteries are starting to break down, and you're gonna probably have a stroke or a heart attack. And we had massive calcification inside of us because we were so acid, and we were just having so many different problems. And so that's how I really, that was the cue. I didn't have a moment to waste on anything that was not going to, you know, change his life, save his life, extend his life, you know what I'm saying? And so really every single product that I've done has had that kind of intention in it, and so where it could change the vibration so that he could live, and his vibration would be so abundant, and it would be, you know, he would have a great life, you know. So that's my story on that. I'm sorry it was so long.
That's amazing. I love. I mean, we need to hear the background, because nobody understands, like, how do you just one day come up with supplements? You know what I mean? There's a lot of companies out there that are really just in it for money, and they put a bunch of crap in a bottle, and they get stuff off just the regular market, and right? So
it's so true.
Yours are so
it costs
different.
pennies.
Right.
A lot of the stuff that's on the market, it literally costs pennies, like the calcium. If you've ever gotten like one of those big containers from Costco,